Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. And in today's video, I want to talk about a mistake that I made in my game that cost me a couple of months that I had to sit around and wait for. And that is to do with Doom Tower, and specifically, it has to do with these Ramantu missions. Ramantu. It is a very long grind. There's a lot of things in there that makes it an even longer grind. However, I do want to bring up some of the things that I did or I didn't do that kind of cost me a few months. And if you do these now, maybe when you get there, and if you're not there, don't worry about it because Romantu is almost a longer grind. It is a longer grind than Marius, I think. But you don't want to get stuck behind some of the things that are going to come up in these missions. Now, before we get started with the rest of the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Download using the QR code in the top right hand of the screen to get Thol and Falbeard absolutely free. And these three amazing epics we have Stag Knight, Rector Drath, and Farrakhan the Fat. And also don't forget that you can get your hands on the Void Legendary Support Champion to Hanorak. Just plug in the promo code Desert Queen in the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Okay, so I actually want to go over here to, this is the Hell Hades website. Really great resource for especially all of the missions, because I can't really go backwards to some of mine. Now, currently where I'm at in my game anyways, I'm on like mission 128, 129 or something like this. And I'm grinding out some silver keys, and soon I'm going to get probably stuck, or I'm going to try and push a little bit harder on this Tag Arena mission for Gold 1. But there are some previous missions that are available in the early stages, especially Part 1, Part 2, that can get you stuck depending on, if you save for this or not. There's a few of them. Actually, the first thing that I want to put up before we go into that is actually the bizarre gold bars. So this is something that can take a very long time. Mission 49, right? Exchange 15,000 gold bars at the bazaar. What is that? Well, that is obviously here. What do I do with my gold bars? Well, I mostly just buy the energy weekly and the ancient shard, and that is literally it. And I actually save my gold bars. I have about almost 50,000 gold bars because I still have a mission left to do for that. There's other ways that you can kind of spend them, like this void shard, which I think is like every 2 weeks. There's also a sacred shard over here once you do get into gold. If you get into gold, that is 30k. So those are the ways where you can kind of spend your gold bars. But, the mission requires you to exchange 15k at only number 49. So make sure that you're aware of this and you don't just blow it randomly. Just kind of save it for this mission if you're getting close. There's also another one with gold bars, 25,000 gold bars at mission 84. And I think the other one's quite late, which I'm not at yet, but exchange 50,000 at 138. And that's just after the gold one. So I'm getting a little bit closer to that one. The second thing that I want to talk about is going to be your glyphs. There's a lot of different ones in the Romantu missions that require you to use glyphs in various forms. Some of them, especially mission 20, get 5 max substat upgrades from using rank 5 or higher glyphs. So when you're farming your faction crypts and things like that, make sure that you're keeping some of the rank 5 plus for these Romantu missions, right? That you're going to start finding, well, if you're in hard mode, you're going to get this quite often, but I guess when you start getting the availability more of the 5-star glyphs, especially stage 2021, this kind of thing, save those 5-star glyphs because that's going to be really important for you to do with Marius. It's okay probably if you spend your speed ones right, but in terms of the other ones, try to save the other non-speed ones specifically for these Romantu missions because it's going to make a pretty big difference. There's a lot of these glyph ones, honestly. There's how many, the substats? 10 max substats for rank 5 or higher. 50, now this can be used, actually you can use any glyphs for this. 30 max substats at rank 5 or higher. And how far does it go, actually? 40 max substat upgrades using rank. So you need a lot of these rank 5. Have I even finished it? I'm not sure. Rank mission 159, and then I think that's it. Yeah, mission 150. So I've done all the 5-star ones, but there is a lot of these. So do keep in mind that you're going to need quite a few because it's gonna. I don't know how many it takes to get a max substat, right? What the percentage rate of that is, but yeah, there's a lot of different missions that do that there. So that's another thing that I want to let people know about when it comes to the Romantu missions. Thirdly, there might be a few more actually, but the ones that I want to talk about that could set you back is where I kind of like thought about this video. There's particular ones where you have to equip characters with specific sets. So right away, I'm gonna zoom it. Can I zoom in a touch more? So this one here at mission 32, Swift Parry set. So a lot of these are not time sensitive. Deflection set, resilience set, And it's not until you get a bit later, perception set, also not a big deal. This is where maybe, I mean, some of these is where you get to Doom Tower bosses. 98 is an Affinity Breaker set, so that's going to be from, do I even have, is it even in the current rotation? I'm not sure, it might be. Affinity Breaker. I think it's Nether Spider, right? Yeah, so that is available in more than one rotation. I'm pretty sure Nether Spider is available on 2 different rotations, if I'm not mistaken. But to go back to the list of the ones that actually do matter the most, you can see down here, equip a champion with a Frostbite set. So that is none other than the current one in the game right now, which is Frost Spider, and specifically this rotation of Doom Tower for Frost Spider. Once this goes away, there's no Frost Spider artifact drops at all in the next 2 months, because it's the headliner boss of this particular rotation where you need to be able to craft this up. Now, you might have some sitting around, right? You might have some of this to be able to craft it, and it's a 2-piece set, so it's not a lot, but the reason why this took me by surprise is because I'm some of those people who, on my personal CVC in Clan versus Clan, that I go into my Forge, the Forge objectives, and I'll go ahead and craft all this crap, right, from Doom Tower and whatnot. But the problem is I often do not keep the gear. I often have it as a sell, right? I have my filter set up in a way where if I make some of this Infinity Breaker stuff, I use the quick craft and I select filters where more often than not, I end up selling this because it just doesn't meet my criteria. And frankly, you're probably not going to be using the vast majority of these Doom Tower gear sets anyways. I think the only really good one is obviously from Dark Fate, which we talk about a lot here on the channel, which is Lethal, which actually I do need to craft this up probably on the next personal CVC. My point is that, yeah, you might have some of this sitting around, but you also might be like me where you kind of craft it up and then you sell it because you're not going to use it, right? So this is kind of like a public service announcement, a bit of a heads up on some of these that do require you to use sets. And if you don't have the crafting pieces around, you'll then have to wait 2 months for it to come back around in order to get it again. So I'm trying to save people the pain on that one a little bit. A champion with the Untouchable set. This one's Doom Scarab, I'm pretty sure. Untouchable? Pretty sure, yeah, it is. It's the Doom Scarab set. So you might have this because he does appear on more than one rotation. It's really only Frost Spider, I think, that is the only one that's restricted to this specific rotation because it's the headliner boss. I believe the other ones is Eternal Dragon, right? And Dark Fae. So those are the 3 major Doom Tower rotations. Funny enough, there is actually one for, this is the Fatal set from the Dragon. This is fine. There's a Guardian set that's from Griffin, also fine, I think 2 rotations. And then we have the Bloodthirst set. Now this, I think, is Eternal Dragons. Now this is very, very close to the end. So, hey, if you're already, this is literally like 5 from the end. So at that point, I mean, yeah, just be aware that what you could do is just craft. If you don't want to keep this kind of stuff, just craft it. And then, I don't know, stick it on some character that you have in like the Master Vault, right? Because the Master Vault, you could just stick it on a side character, stick some gear up on there. I don't know, maybe I have some random gear that I probably should get rid of. But yeah, you could just stick a character here with the Frostbite set, stick another character with the Untouchable set, and then just leave them in the vault because you just have to have them equipped and you'll complete the mission. But yeah, of course, Romantu has lots of other more pain in the ass missions that you're probably going to have to get through before you can get them unlocked. Anyways, this is one of the longer guides, frankly. I had Marius done like, I think by about 10 or 11 months into my game. So it is much more achievable. It is it's not, I wouldn't even say it's grindier, but you do have to get through all of the hard dungeons in order to clear Marius. But I think it's actually easier than what they ask you to do for Romantu. But I wanted to bring this up anyways. A lot of people get stuck around this tag arena mission here for Gold 1. Just because there's only so many players in Raid Shadow Legends that can actually get to each of the tag arena, like the higher up tiers. And tag is not the most fun to do. For me, the leagues like reset at a really early morning time. For me, it's like 8 a.m. And so like I'm never awake before that happens. So I don't know what I'm gonna have to do to get to Gold 1. I need to like really like slam away at some battles and like maybe manually play battles as well to get as many wins as I possibly can to get into Gold 1. But I'll do that once I'm there, right? I'm very close to being there, but it'll probably take me another 2 weeks before I'm up to this mission. And then some of the other ones are just there's some really bad ones. Obviously, the gold bar ones are not very fun either. But as far as there's I guess the not area bonuses, the Great Hall, right? So if you scroll to the very end, you need to upgrade 10 affinity bonuses to level 10. I'm kind of almost there, and by the time I get there, I probably will be there. There's a few things I need to finish off. Void resistance, void defense, and then probably magic crit damage. Those are probably the other ones that I'm going to be finishing. I personally recommend doing all of accuracy and all of crit damage for all of your characters first. I think that's probably like the most important thing to do, is what I would say. But as I get more and more better void characters, that was something that I was considering as well, especially defense and resistance. So I guess those are the three that I'm probably going to be working on finishing for those to get my 10. Other than that, probably after those, I will be working on, I guess, more of my void stats, or maybe I'll do some more defense. This is something that I'll have to talk about in a separate video because I think it's important, not even just for Romantu, but for early Arbiter as well, that you need to get some of these done too. So this may not be a video that's relevant to everyone, but I just kind of wanted to point this out in case other people land into this similar trap, whether you're a mid-game player, end-game player, maybe you haven't even finished Romantu yet, which wouldn't be surprising. This is a bit of a grindier mission for sure. I actually kind of hope that they have a new character coming out in the near future, because someone can correct me. I mean, I've obviously, when I started playing, Marius was already out, but I would really hope for like maybe a later 2026 new mission log. That would be really, really nice. I think these come out like what, every 2 years, maybe something like that, 2.5 years. I don't know how long it took to get these out. Marius has been probably a little while already. So it would be cool to see another character come out that we have a new type of mission to grind. I don't know what that would include, though. I guess it would have to include things like, because I think Hydra was already part of Marius. So it would have to include Chimera and then Grim Forest. And then I don't know, because even maybe more of Cursed City, because even killing Amius in hard mode was also part of the Marius mission. So I'm not sure what else they'd have to include on there. I guess stuff that was missing from the others. Faction War hard mode, maybe some missions related to that might be on there as well. We'll see. Anyways, that's it for my video. Of course, before we end the video, use the QR code, make a new account, get Tholan Foulbeard and all these amazing epics: Stag Knight, Rector Drath, and Farrakhan the Fat. And don't forget to get yourself your hands on to Hanorach, an amazing Void Legendary Support Champion. Use the promo code Desert Queen in the first 48 hours of a brand new account. That's it from me, everyone. I'll see you all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.